Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kire here with another Aether Gazer video, and in today's video I want to talk about how to get the absolute best start here in Aether Gazer and what you should be focusing on here in the early game. So the first thing is all going to come down to the reroll, and that is something that is actually really easy to do in this game. It only takes about 15 to 20 minutes to reroll your account. These are going to be the things you get in the initial phase. All you got to do is get to stage 1, 2 in the campaign. That doesn't take much time at all. And then the game is going to give you these rewards. You get 10 pulls here. You get 30 pulls here. This and more materials here. These are things we'll understand here in a moment. So you get a total of 40 pulls. And then based on when you do it currently, there's the 500,000 download special gifts. So that's 2,000 of the premium currency. And then we also get this issue here. This audio issue has been fixed. This is something that's temporary. For right now, you get another 1,000. So rerolling is very powerful right now. It makes it very convenient. Also, it's just super simple in this game to be able to just make a guest account. If you don't like who you get, then you just reroll for another account. And I like that they make it very simple, that there's no need to go through this whole campaign or all this unskippable stuff. It's just straightforward. Here you get to try it out. Do you get the characters you want? Yes or no? Call it a day. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the scan thing here, that premium currency that you get anywhere from 3 to 2,000, depending on when the game is. If they're going to keep giving that 1,000 for new accounts in the future, that might not necessarily be the case. But as of now, you get 3,000 of this currency. 2,000 of it is going to get you a 10 pull. And the current rate up banner in Tsukuyomi is one of the best, if not the best melee damage dealer for a very long time. From what I've been hearing about people that didn't play on Global, they've been playing for about a year, she's still right up there. So this is a very good investment and someone that if you're trying to really double down on your reroll, you can go for it and get. I just happened to, on my third reroll, I ended up pulling her in that first 10 pull. It's super lucky. Like that's something that's going to take people probably quite a bit of rerolls, but I'll take it. And so that's what I ended up doing there. And then on here, you get 40 pulls. I would be trying to get a reroll. Like my goal is to get 2 S grade units from there. And then based on the ones you have, I think this is incredibly subjective when it comes to which ones you like and which ones you want to keep and which combinations you want. But that's going to be my goal if I'm rerolling. In most games, I'm a person that normally never rerolls. Like for example, coming from Honkai Star Rail, like that game seems to be built to not reroll at all. But like even in games where it's actually pretty easy, I don't like doing it. Whereas in this game, I actually did it because it was so easy to do that, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer. And based on your reroll, it's incredibly impactful. So I think that's the best tip I can give you. If you want a good start in this game, you really want to reroll. Okay, so now we talked about rerolling. I think there's a concept I want to explain. And it's weird. I haven't seen a game that does this, but I think this is the best time to talk about this because the quicker you understand this, the easier everything's going to be to understand in the future, which is you can pull characters. There's the same character, but different rarities. So for example, we have Tsukuyomi. This is the S tier version. When I pulled her, she was S tier, and this is like the 5-star equivalent here. Whereas as you can see down here, here is Tsukuyomi again, but here is an A tier version of her. And the confusion, this is a completely different kit. If you look at her skills, completely different. But she's also named Tsukuyomi. And so initially for me, I was very confused. I'm sure most people are too. But these are completely different characters. This is like a lesser than version of the character. The one that is very important to understand is going to be Poseidon. This character is normally an A tier character when you first pull her, but then there's an S tier version of Poseidon. This version of her right here is the A tier version, and you'll understand why she's S right now here in a second. But this is the free to play version, and she's a healer. I think she's going to be incredibly useful for most people, and a lot of people are going to. I would recommend using her on most teams, especially if you're free to play. She's going to be a very good character. This is going to be someone to look out for because the healer is going to be tough to find. It's nice that you get her. Another reason why she's good is so notice how she's S tier right now, but she was initially A tier. And then if I go here, here's the actual S tier version of her, where if I pulled her, she'd be S tier immediately. How does that make sense? And what that is as you get duplicates of a character, they start to go up in tier ranks. So since she's a free-to-play character, everyone gets her. As you progress through the game, you're going to easily get duplicates. Whereas normally for characters, you need to pull them again to get that duplicate. And where you put that resource in. So if I pull another version of this epic character in A-tier version of Poseidon here, I'm going to get this currency down here. And as you start to get more of this currency, like let's say I pull her again, you get 18 of these. And then you put it in, and then you slowly get more stats. So notice how I'd get 450 HP, I'd get 30 defense, I would get 450 more HP. Like this is really impactful stuff to be able to pull duplicates, and that's how it works in this game. And then as I get more, when you finish this thing, it's going to go S, and it's going to go to another rank and another rank as you go through and get more duplicates. So I wanted to just fully explain that because not understanding that can really confuse people, in my opinion. I hope I did a good explanation because this is a very weird system. I think because these characters are massively different. For example, this version of Poseidon, the title song version, she is a healer. Whereas this version of Poseidon down here, she is an AoE DPS. Arctic Abyss version, she's an AoE freeze DPS. Massively different character. Same name. Now I hope you understand. So then, now that we know that, let's talk about what you're going to be looking to do in the early game, which is definitely going to be, just like most of these games, you're going to want to go to the main story. And you're going to be trying to 3-star these as much as possible. As you go through, you want to be able to beat those, clear that. You're going to get rewards. Definitely check down here. As you start to progress and get more of these, you're going to get rewards down here. You're going to be getting that premium currency. You're going to be getting resources to level up your characters. One thing I do want to say, I should have said this earlier, but from my understanding, if you're worried about this, as a free-to-play player, you should be getting enough pulls in the beginning to go to pity on her. How the pity system works on this character is going to be just like Genshin, where it's that 50-50 pull. Normally, like that's pretty bad, but it's 70 instead of Genshin's normal 90. So keep that in mind when it comes to this, and that's going to be for all of these. This one right here, you get those 40 pulls. You get a guaranteed rank up character in 40 pulls. Ideally, if you're going to be re-rolling, you're going to try to get an early one and get like 2 here if you can. That would be my ideal. And if you get super lucky, I think this is going to be something that's really difficult to do, but if you can, in the first 10 pull, get Tsukuyomi, or at least in the first 10 pull, go for your 50-50. Might not necessarily need to win it, but the sooner you can do that, the sooner you're going to be able to get this character. So just wanted to go on a side tangent there and just really talk about that, because I was worried that, okay, if let's say I miss my 50-50, am I expected to have to spend money if I'm going to be able to get Tsukuyomi? Because if that was the case, I'll just re-roll and then try to hit that 50-50 every time. And then if I didn't, then I'll just start over again. But I think from all the resources that I've seen, for the amount of resources I've gotten, it looks very convincing that as a free-to-play player, you are going to be able to have enough currency to guarantee pull 1 5-star hero. The next one down the line, let's say you get incredibly lucky, go to pity both times, good luck. You're going to get 1, and then that's it, and you're going to have to save up for quite a bit. You're probably going to miss 1 to 2 more heroes. Luckily, this hero on this banner is actually really good, so I would say it's worth just all-inning, even if you're super unlucky. So then, next thing is going to be understanding how to make our characters stronger. I think this is really important. It's first is going to be the simple thing, limit breaking. You're going to use currency here, this kind of stuff, to be able to limit break them. And then it's going to because normally you can go from level 0 to 1. So here, actually, a better example of this would be, let's take this character. In Frostfang, I haven't leveled this. This would be like a brand new character. And then I level this character up. I use experience right here I go to 20 initially. So boom, level 20. Then I want to limit break. I use this green currency. I hit that, and then it limit breaks them. Now I can level her to 30, and so on and so forth, up to 40 currently where I'm at. The thing that's going to gauge you is going to be your admin level. And admin level is something that as you do activities and use stamina, you're going to level this up. So currently I'm level 37, and so I'm gated on that to take her to 50 if I wanted to. So then what you're going to be doing is progressing through the story here, and then you're going to hit these bottlenecks. So, for example, chapter 8, I can't do chapter 8 because I'm not admin level 40. So then what do you do in situations like this? You might hit a bottleneck at admin level 30, maybe admin level 25. You might hit these bottlenecks. So then you would come down to this other tab, maybe do some supply runs and get some experience to level up your characters. Or maybe you would get these limit break materials. We just talked about that here in a second. So you would do these missions to get some of these materials. And then that's using energy, at least in a productive way, to then, when you finally hit the required agency level here, then you'll be able to continue progressing through the story. So then, now let's actually talk about other ways to improve our character, which is going to be our skills. This is something that you level up. It's this currency here. And you would level it up, and it's going to increase the percentages of the damage, for example. Like most of them, anything yellow here is going to get increased. So it even tells you what the next one is. So when I can finally level this up again, then I'm going to go from 353% to 360. This is very standard for all of this. And then this currency, when you run out, you can go down to the supplies, and then you'll be able to see it right in here. It is this stuff right here, this factor collection. And then skill point, it just says it straight up. I can do this, and once I beat this, then I'm locked here because unlocks at admin level 40 to get more value. But when I do this, usually you get like 80 of these, and it ranges, for example. So that's another thing to keep in mind on being able to increase the power level of your characters. And then the thing that you want to really focus in on is you want to find your core 3, because how this game works is you have a team of 3, and then you have one character you control. It's not like Genshin in the sense that you swap between them. How it works is you have one main damage dealer, and then you choose who you want the computer to control the other 2. So what's going to end up happening is probably about agency level 25 to 30, you're going to want to settle on a team of 3 to really funnel your resources into, because everything gets very stingy quick. So you don't have much time to make a choice on which characters you actually want to choose before you start to fully commit to them. Some things to keep in mind if you want to make an easier choice that are hard to understand without it being pointed out to you is going to be something like this. So about gen zones. So this is going to be like kind of your typing. And as you can see, based on your gen zone, you get a combat bonus. So for example, I have Tsukuyomi, and then I have this character, but they both share the same gen bonus. So this version of the gen bonus, combat bonus, increases the mod's damage according to the number of enemies they face. And then the modified mode bonus, after exiting modified mode, it deals damage to the enemy equal to a certain percentage. And then it doesn't even tell you. But basically, it's like, okay, we do more damage. If we have people of this team comp here of the same type, then we're doing more damage in situations where there's more enemies. So that is going to be a benefit or something to think about when you have your main character. Like you have this character, okay, she has this type. You might want to consider pairing her up with other people like that so you can take advantage of these gen zone bonuses. Also, you want to look at ultimate chains. So what this is you get a boost to your ultimate based on who's in your team comp. So she gets it if I want to team with this character or these 3. But that is going to be, this is like the free-to-play characters you're going to be getting, so you're guaranteed to get that. And then you want to see like, okay, here's my team comp. Do I want to actually gain this bonus, or do I want to go a different direction? Here, Tsukuyomi, her ultimate one, she just has one here, and it's this character. So I would want to consider, do I want to take in this character, or do I want to get that ultimate skill chain bonus and take in this character here? So I think a lot of people are probably going to be considering her as a potential team up with her. And then also I'd be able to get this bonus here. So it's like a lot of synergy with those 2 characters. So just keep that in mind. Those are some of the decisions to make when you're figuring out your team comp. And lastly, when it comes to increasing your, not lastly, there's a couple of more things. next is going to be your Functor right here. And I don't know why they went with that name, but it's like your weapon, your light cone from Honkai Star Rail. And how it works is just based on your type. So this is this version. The healing one is Olympus. So she's an Olympus style character. So she takes Olympus style Functors. And then here's like a blue version right here. And I can change it. And you can like look at the actual benefits here. And then it's Transcend 5. So what I did is I just crushed in duplicates of the other ones to make it Transcend 5. So she gets 16% crit damage. That's the effect here. But let's see. Let's go to this character. We have a purple one. So it's a little bit better of effect. Also, it's a different, what's it called again? It's a different gen zone. So she takes different functors. So she's going to be getting a different set of potential items here. And then also different things like prioritizes like attack up, for example, here. And then lastly, this is going to be like the 5-star version of functors. This is like the gacha version of it. And for these ones, you'll actually have specific effects if you can match it to the corresponding character. One thing I do want to say is when pulling for these, I'll do a separate video for this because I think this is totally worth it. So how you pull for them, you go here and you choose, you choose this option for being able to roll for functors. It's just like pulling for a character, but the important thing is going to be choosing the right faction here. And then within that faction, look at how many options there are. There's all these different options for specific ones. But let's say you end up pulling the wrong one. Like I want this one. This is the one for my character, like my 5-star character. I wanted this one. But if I pull this one, for example, you can evocate it and switch it to the corresponding one. So you don't have to worry. All you got to do is make sure you're in the right tree. So if I ended up choosing like this one, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm almost positive that if I pulled this one, I wouldn't be able to evocate it over to a different tree, for example. I wouldn't be able to go from a Nile one and switch it over to this one. So keep that in mind. Make sure you switch this to the corresponding one, then start pulling. And how you can check it is just match it up. Like, okay, I have one of this symbol here, and then I go to my character, and okay, same symbol. Okay, I'm pulling on the right one. We're good. If I pull a 5-star, doesn't need to be the right one. It just needs to be a 5-star, and then we switch it. So it's very important because I don't think in the game it actually says exactly what evocate does. And I believe you only get one shot because because when I did it, the evocate went away. But it could be something that you need to actually have that corresponding 5-star. But I'm not 1,000% sure on that. So keep that in mind. But at least it's kind of nice there because it looked like a crazy gacha system that good luck trying to get a weapon, but that's how you can target it. I think the last thing to kind of close you out on is going to be some of the weekly stuff you really want to target it on. So on your missions, you have your daily missions. This is very typical, but you also want to look at your weekly missions and make sure you're hitting these every time because especially when you have a global launch and then they have their weekly thing, this is really important to hit this as soon as possible and really lock in your reroll because if I start too late, I might miss out on a week's worth of rewards or I might miss out on these ones down here. So definitely worth doing that. And then a ton of rewards are here as well in the story missions. As you increase through here, you're going to be getting more rewards here as well. This is going to be a big source of your progress going forward. Another thing, this is actually super important in my opinion. So what's going to happen as you level, you're going to start to get these limited packs and you're going to, like when you hit big milestones like 15, 20, 25, you're going to get these packs and what they're going to do for you is they're going to give you the materials to be able to level up some of these characters. You're going to be able to limit break some characters on time. You're going to be able to go here to your access key and limit break this on time. So just keep that in mind that you're going to be getting those. Those are really nice to have. I wish they would show them, but they're in the shop here. And when they pop up, like when you hit that level, you're going to see a red dot. It's going to take you there. But that is something to really keep in mind. It's going to help you out when you're first leveling because it takes a ton of energy to be able to get those materials. But at least as you're leveling up, if you really narrow in and pick the right 3 characters and don't just try to build up your whole roster, you're going to get enough from these things to be able to reasonably level up these characters without needing to spend too much energy. So another thing to keep in mind. And I think that's going to be the final thing here. I think that's going to be a good start here in Aether Gazer. If you guys have any specific questions, definitely let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you want to see exactly how to use Tsukuyomi, like her correct rotation and be able to use maximize her damage, definitely check out this video. I'll leave it up right here.